It's Red Eye Radio. Gary McNamara and Eric Harley talk about everything from politics to social issues and news of the day. Whether you're up late or you're just starting your day, welcome to the show. From the Uniden America Studios, this is Red Eye Radio.
All across America, we are Red Eye Radio. He is Eric Harley, and I'm Gary McNamara. Welcome and good morning. Oh, it's Thursday, so we're overloaded with audio cuts.
Yeah.
So let's get some of them in here, okay?
Okay, because we're going to hate Friday.
This is Butthead being interviewed. Now, when I say that, I'm not calling him a name. He just, as he gets older,
comparing him to the fictional character Butthead. Yes.
Yes, I mean he looks like Butthead from Beavis and Butthead. This is Beto O'Rourke talking about his hero,
Beavis.
Yeah, Mamdani.
Yeah.
Maybe that's unfair to call him Butthead. Would Butthead be? Is Butthead a communist? Is Beavis and Butthead are they communist?
No.
You know, they were laughing at the not Code Pink. What are they?
Earth First.
Earth First. Yeah. Code Pink, Earth First. Same
Mm-hmm.
difference.
Same difference.
They were laughing at the woman that said that the Rock was alive.
Mm-hmm. Earth First.
So here's Beto.
All right.
Here we go.
What are your thoughts on Zohran Mamdani?
I think he's one of the most exciting people in American politics, bar none. The joy with which he ran his campaign, he just looked genuinely excited to be with the people that he wanted to serve, and so often turning the microphone over to them. I mean, when's the last time a politician willingly gave up a microphone to somebody else who wanted to speak?
Could you answer that question, please, sir?
Bernie Sanders.
Bernie.
I think he's done it repeatedly, but we know he's done it at his own rallies, by the way.
Right. That did not look good.
No.
Here we go. Let's continue.
Yeah.
But I think he sought to listen to and learn from those who he wanted to lead in New York. And he presented these really bold, clearly defined solutions to their problems. This is the most expensive city to live in America. Hey, what if we freeze the rent if you're eligible for it? How about buses are free? You can't get fresh and healthy food for your kids. What if the city got involved in helping to get that done? There wasn't.
Look, you're getting really excited. I just want to stop you right now. I don't know if you saw. The New York Post just dropped this news article, but we can lift this from the interview if you want. Zohran Mamdani's mom has an apartment that is worth $2 million. So he might have grown up in an apartment that has more than one bathroom.
God forbid.
That's where
what I meant to say was I don't like the guy at all.
Wow. We can drop it from the interview if you want.
Yeah,
because
if you don't mind, we can just cut this out.
Cut it out.
If you want me to cut this out.
I got to find that entire interview.
I know, yeah.
One of the most exciting people in American politics.
Yeah.
Just,
yeah.
Oh, God, he's so...
Yes, mom has a $2 million... okay. All right, there's that.
What was the same thing with the Uganda wedding, and he's got security and everything else, and meanwhile he wants to defund the police, and it's just there is no change.
No,
there is no really. The only change with Mamdani is the fact that he's a communist, and they're labeling him as a communist. And I swear to God, everything's like a Seinfeld episode. Let's get excited. It's a communist. Mm-hmm. The only one that had any bit of sanity on that show on Seinfeld with the commie was Mickey. Mickey was the only one that stood up against the communist. Yeah. Elaine thought the communist was cool. I'm dating a communist.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know if George was particularly impressed. The only thing that George was impressed about was that it seemed like communist women would date anybody and he would have a shot. Because you could wear drab clothes, if you remember that one.
Right, yeah.
And Jerry was like, whatever. Kramer, though.
Yeah.
Kramer, basically the character Kramer was completely like the people of New York that support Mamdani. He was quoting Marx. He was walking around and Mickey had to tackle him to try to beat some sense into him.
Well, and it was a separate setting, but the Kramer position on corporations, companies just write it off. You don't even know what that means.
Oh yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
But they do, and that's why they just write it off.
The one I like the best was when Kramer's Santa Claus, and he's sitting there and he goes, "You don't want to get the toy from this store. These capitalist fat cats." Kramer starts talking that way, and Mickey's like, "Shut up, shut up." And the kid all of a sudden gets down. And he goes, "Commie, traitor to our country." And then I love when the manager of the store comes up. He's not a commie. He's not. Mickey's trying to defend and save Kramer's job. Someone's like, "Get your commie A out of here."
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh. But seriously, it's like a Seinfeld episode.
Yeah,
That's why I bring it, because Seinfeld was, again, was supposed to be in New York.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, oh, communism. What a really interesting idea. Wow. I'm dating a communist. Oh, it's cool culturally. They're still promoting the same thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're going to give you free stuff, but we're not old. We're old. We're young, and we call ourselves commies. And we've got the same philosophy, give you free stuff, and if we give you free stuff, that will make New York a cheaper place to live in.
Yeah.
Who pays for it?
Right. Yeah, they never complete the equation.
No, they never do.
Ever. Well, it's Beto. Oh, you can't get fresh groceries, huh? How about we do that for you? Hey, what else you want? You want a DVD? I know people don't watch DVDs. We'll get some DVDs for you. The government can get you anything.
Get you bootleg movies.
Yeah, what do you
Hold
want?
it. That's another Seinfeld episode.
By the way, I don't know why I'm doing comedian Todd Barry all of a sudden. It's just weird. It's just strange.
Oh, my gosh.
It's, No, but
it's like, we got a great idea.
Hey.
We can get you fresh vegetables for free.
Hey.
We'll build a supermarket. We'll get you this free, this free, this free, this free. This will be free. And it's like, wow, this is something new. We got something new and exciting. We're going to get you free stuff, and we're going to call ourselves, we're not going to be Democrats anymore. We're not even going to be Democrat socialists anymore. We're communists.
Yeah, right. By the way, when conservatives say, like, okay, you shouldn't be able to, like with food stamps, you shouldn't be able to buy certain things. It should be the essential foods to feed you and your family. It shouldn't be, the whatever it is, the sodas or candy or whatever, so Beto does the government can help you with getting fresh food to your table. Well, my kids only eat Skittles and Cheetos. Will the government pay for that? Well, we'll have a discussion about what's healthy. Ah, you mean deciding what you're going to pay for. Oh, interesting. You start opening that door. The fissures happen very quickly in the ice. Look, it'll be fun. It'll be great. You'll have everything you need. And he did say, by the way, the rent control, capping the rent for those who qualify. Oh, let's get into that. Because it's always in the details.
Because
they throw out these grand ideas.
Because he's in a rent control.
Exactly.
You saw that Cuomo going after him. I think it was the New York Post that did that, too. It's like Cuomo going after Mamdani for being in a rent-controlled apartment, yet it was Cuomo who pushed for the law that allows Mamdani to stay in a rent-controlled apartment.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Right.
It's a big circle of people with the same beliefs, because Cuomo had the same belief. And now he's criticizing him, and it's like, well, it doesn't matter what I said yesterday. I've got this new position today.
Yeah.
I'm telling you that it's when you have a party that promotes, number one, that all we want to do is give you free stuff. We want criminals to roam free on the street. We want to defund the police. We want open borders. It's basically saying we want chaos because chaos is the only way that we believe that we have succeeded before of being in charge and having the power that we want. But when I sit there and see Butthead, that's
Beto.
I always confuse him and Buttigieg for some reason.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know why. But when you got Butthead, because he looks like Butthead, and not just name calling him and calling him a Butthead, he just looks like Butthead. They're just repackaging the same old crap that they haven't been able to win on. And it said, we can get you stuff for free and the rich are going to pay.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the rich will move. No, they won't. Well, yeah, they are moving. You're already losing money. It's documented that these cities and states are losing income. You and I went through that a couple of weeks ago.
Yep.
How much income they're losing. People are getting out. And if you're losing a lot more income, even if your population is remaining the same, it means the people that are replacing, that are coming in, are making a heck of a lot less money than the people that are moving out.
Exactly.
And you're losing money every single year. And it doesn't matter that, no.
Which means, of course, that those left behind have to pay more.
Right. But I agree with George Will. If that's what New York City wants.
If they vote that way, great. You know what?
Really,
hey, good luck.
I really believe in federalism. I believe the 50 states and individual cities, go do what you want. Destroy yourselves. Just don't ask the federal government to bail you out.
Right. Good luck.
Live with the disaster that you voted for.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Good luck. We hope it fails miserably.
Well,
because it will.
It will. I mean, it just does. It doesn't work.
Not going to work. Well, again, where are you going to get the funds from? Tax the rich. The rich are gone. Well, there is no equation. There is no, again, you brought it up earlier with state-run health care at the state level.
Yeah.
Well, they couldn't get that done because they can't borrow money.
Yeah, they got to pay for it now. You got to
right.
You got to pay for what you need right now, and they can't do it.
Right.
So the only way they can do it, because of the morality, because they say it's moral for a society to pay for everybody's health care. Well, then why didn't California do it?
Right.
Why didn't Colorado do it? Why didn't Vermont do it? Because they had to pay for it. Mm-hmm. It's only their morality is we want what we want today and put it on the backs of future generations of our children, our grandchildren, and our great-grandchildren. Let's have taxation without representation in that new loophole that we have found. We can't have taxation without representation with live people, so let's take people that aren't born yet and put a tax on them,
right? Because
somehow that's a loophole in taxation without representation. That's the morality of the left.
Yep. And they always leave out the biggest part of the equation because they want to implement the benefits part of it, and then run out of money. When they run out of money later, we're just going to have to do something to come up with the money. But at the city level for New York City, you're not going to have – clearly what they'll do is they'll go after corporations and the rich. Corporations and the rich can leave.
Yeah.
Then what?
Economic reality.
Yep.
They just ignore.
Yep.
866-90 Red Eye.
This morning's USDA Farm Report is brought to you by House Products. Tested, trusted, guaranteed since 1920.
The latest Atlantic tropical storm and what it might mean for the mainland U.S. Atlantic coast. USDA meteorologist Brad Rippey provides the latest.
Tropical storm Erin, which formed earlier this week west of the African coast. This is the first time we've seen one of those classic systems expected to take the complete path from the African coast all the way eastward into the western Atlantic basin.
Erin is expected to reach hurricane strength by as early as this weekend.
We are expecting Erin to pass pass a few hundred miles north of Puerto Rico and the U.S. Virgin Islands over the weekend, and likely we'll see rough seas, heavy surf coming into those U.S. possessions and territories.
Still uncertain as of late Wednesday if Aaron might reach the East Coast.
Computer guidance is suggesting that Aaron should recurve before reaching the United States. There is still a possibility that Aaron could reach the mainland United States, something to keep an eye on as we move into the weekend and beyond.
I'm Rod Bain reporting for the U.S. Department of Agriculture in Washington, D.C.
This report brought to you by Cenex Fuels and Lubes.
Coming up, more with Gary McNamara and Eric Harley. It's Red Eye Radio.
We are Red Eye Radio. He is Eric Harley, and I'm Gary McNamara. Welcome and good morning. All right, you ready for this?
All right.
Yesterday around this time, we played Chuck Schumer. It's time to play Chuck Schumer again.
Yeah.
Chuck Schumer on walking around D.C. and Donald Trump and Washington crime.
Senator, are you scared walking around Washington, D.C. these days?
I walk around all the time. I wake up early in the morning sometimes and take a nice walk as the sun is rising around some of the Capitol and the other monuments and things, and I feel perfectly safe. They're full of it. Look, here's what they've done, Aaron. Plain and simple. Donald Trump wants to distract. That's his game plan. It's been his M.O. for his first term in the presidency and now.
So there you go. Distract from what?
Yeah, from what? Oh, and you pointed out during the break, after you previewed that audio, that as Senate Minority Leader, he's going to have some protection if he's on Capitol Hill walking around.
Yeah.
So
he's got security.
Yeah. Let me ask you, Chuck, are the Baileys with you?
Well, that's what, from what we found out, he would have been better off saying, look, the Baileys
have never been assaulted.
Not once.
Not once.
The Baileys have never been assaulted once. The Baileys have never seen an assault or any crime in Washington, D.C.
Right. And the Baileys have walked every square inch of Washington, D.C.
Yeah. They've been everywhere.
Yeah. I mean, if we're going to make it up as we go along, then why not just go big on this?
If you didn't hear yesterday's show, the Baileys are the make-believe couple that Chuck Schumer has said is the basis of everything that he believes in his political career.
Yeah.
The Baileys are his imaginary friends.
Mm-hmm.
They don't exist. He's been talking about them for decades. It is our audio cut of the week. It may be our audio cut of the year. It could be our audio cut of the century, because there is no audio cut that I think that can show you how absolutely delusional the mind of a liberal is.
Yeah. Just insane.
Yeah. So, but the Baileys are safe. We want you to know that.
Which is the good news.
Trump is lying about the Baileys.
That's the point. The guy that makes up a couple and has been talking about a completely made-up couple says Trump is lying. But I think the way you put it was even more brillianter. That is, the Baileys say Trump is making it all up.
And they voted for Trump.
They voted for Trump.
Mr. Bailey voted again for Trump in 2024.
Yes.
Well, Mr. Bailey voted for Trump in 2024, but because there's no crime and Washington, D.C. is a perfectly safe place to walk around anytime you want, he no longer supports Donald Trump.
Yeah.
Disprove that I'm wrong.
Right. Exactly. That's a very good liberal approach. I like that. Yes.
listening to Red Eye Radio from the Uniden America Studios.
And he is Eric Harley, and I'm Gary McNamara. Download our Red Eye Radio app today, and you can listen when and where you choose. Before we get just very quickly to Schumer and the Baileys again, Schumer in that cut was saying he'll walk the streets anytime. There's no danger whatsoever. And Trump is just trying to deflect. And he didn't say it was the Epstein files thing because that was sort of dropped. Everybody sort of ran from that after the judge said a couple of days ago, no, we're not going to release any of this because there's nothing here that would make a difference. And it was not a Trump judge or a conservative judge that said it.
Right.
All of a sudden, it was like, okay, maybe it's not Trump they got. Maybe it's the other side. So they dropped it. Is Schumer not dropping that? Because the story came out yesterday. Former President Bill Clinton is the prime suspect in the House Oversight Committee's probe looking into Jeffrey Epstein's sex trafficking case, according to the committee's chair, Representative James Comer. That's throwing down the gauntlet from Republicans.
Yeah, that's a huge allegation.
That's huge. Everyone in America wants to know what went on Epstein's Island, and we've heard all the reports that Bill Clinton was a frequent visitor there, so he's a prime suspect to be deposed by the House Oversight Committee, Comer said. That's throwing down the gauntlet. I haven't seen yet in the Epstein case.
That's big. Because...
Well, except for Elon Musk. that day,
right, yeah,
which
is a different arena than Comer.
Comer, no.
With Comer doing it, it's because Comer is obliged to bring the evidence and demonstrate that, both politically and I think legally, because there are a number of things here that could fall out if he's wrong or proven wrong. With the story in recent weeks about, all right, Hillary and Bill being called to testify. They'll testify separately because you want to separate them because, they're always together.
My God, that's the first thought that went through my head when you said that. I mean, instant. As I was thinking it, you were saying it, but go ahead.
But all of that coming out, it implied, at the very least, in fact, it indicates that it's believed they know some things, right? That if you look at, all of this. And so when you look at the Epstein thing, those are big allegations for someone like Comer to throw down.
Yeah, they are.
Again, and we say this every time something like this happens, if you're going to put something like that out there, just saying it, you better be right. You better have something, at least, that shows, that supports what you just said. Not that you have to have evidence that he's guilty, but if you're saying Bill Clinton is a suspect, then
prime suspect.
Prime suspect.
Of what is what you'd want to know at that point.
Then, because in law enforcement, in investigative sense, remember, since the Olympics bombing, Richard Jewell, and they had to start changing, well, this is a person of interest, and you have to be careful what you say, even in law enforcement, until you've got something and say, this is our prime suspect. You say prime suspect, and he's a former president. Comer is going to has a ton of weight on his shoulders. You better have something there that demonstrates what you've just said.
Well, especially with the administration that is always under the gun from the media and from Democrats are saying all Trump wants is a vendetta against everybody that's ever wronged him in any way. And certainly it may not be Bill Clinton, but definitely it would be Hillary that you could put in there. But you've seen the administration make a great effort in everything here. By you look at, for example, the Russia collusion hoax, they're producing the emails. They're just not making allegations. They're producing the emails, which is the evidence that you want. Yeah. And so there is an emphasis in this administration not to just say it, but produce the evidence behind it. And so if you're going to go forward and, make the statement a prime suspect, you should have some evidence that has led you to say that. But
yeah, right.
I'm sure we'll get back to that in future days. But here we go, because we've got to play it again. After we broke, I said, Eric, we got to play it again, because we had talked about Schumer saying that that he feels safe to run around and go around anywhere in Washington, D.C. that is perfectly safe, and Trump's trying just to deflect it because of something. We don't know what.
Yeah.
And so we started asking about the Baileys, and do the Baileys agree with him?
Right.
If you haven't heard this, you want to hear this. Maybe our audio cut of the year, so you can get into the mind of the Senate Minority Leader, an ultimate liberal, and this is a liberal who has torn this apart, John Oliver, this week. Are you ready? This is a tale about Mr. Schumer and his imaginary friends.
But I actually want to talk less about Chuck Schumer himself and more about two of his favourite people, Joe and Eileen Bailey. They're a couple that throughout Schumer's career he has talked about a lot.
They're a middle-class couple in Massapequa, which is a suburb on Long Island. Joe and Eileen Bailey, this middle-class couple, they bought into Reagan republicanism in 1980. Joe and Eileen are worried about losing their jobs or their friends' jobs. The Baileys really don't believe in trickle-down. They don't believe in a whole lot of government spending, but they believe in tax breaks for kids to go to college. He's an insurance adjuster and lives in the New York suburbs. By New York standards, he makes $50,000 a year. If he lived in the middle of the country, he'd make $40,000. Wife works in a medical office. She makes about $20,000. She might make $15,000 elsewhere. And, I have guided my political life through the Baileys.
The Baileys have guided Chuck Schumer's political life, which is a little weird given they don't exist. Seriously, he invented them. Schumer first introduced the world to the Baileys in his 2007 book, Positively American, Winning Back the Middle-Class Majority, One Family at a Time. In it, he mentions the Baileys an astonishing 265 times in 264 pages. But he'd apparently been talking about them for years before the book was published. One of his former spokespeople said he's always asking, what would the Baileys think? And to be fair, Schumer acknowledges that some may find this a little weird.
If you ask my staff, I've been talking about and talking to the Baileys for 15 years. I have conversations with them. One of my staffers once said I had imaginary friends to the press. Got me in some trouble. But these people are real, and I respect them, and I really love them, and I care about them.
Okay, sure, but they're literally not real, Joe. But even if you can understand the potential utility of creating a prototypical voter in your head, this goes way beyond that, because Schumer's given the Baileys an unnecessarily detailed backstory. For instance, he said Joe takes off his cap and sings along with the national anthem before the occasional Islanders game. Okay. And when their daughter Megan, oh yeah, they've got kids by the way, told Eileen a friend was caught cheating on a quiz, Eileen was appalled because lying is not tolerated in the house ever. Also, Eileen apparently helps with the clothing drive at her church, and her father had a prostate cancer scare a few years ago. Again, this is a made-up family. None of these people exist. But wait, I'm still not done. Apparently Joe Bailey would never have a goatee. They watch Sex and the City and Desperate Housewives, though Joe pretends not to like either show. They think most baseball players probably take steroids, and if they were to ever go out to a Chinese restaurant, they would order Kung Pao chicken. That is a J.R.R. Tolkien level of gratuitous backstory, and I don't say that lightly. But the Baileys do seem to have a lot of sway over Schumer's politics, as he's brought them up when discussing everything from the 2008 financial crisis to cybersecurity, which he framed as protecting the security the Baileys feel when they go online to buy birthday presents. And to hear Schumer tell it, the Baileys' views can be complicated.
The Baileys are not anti-immigration, but they are anti-illegal immigration. They really dislike the Enron executives who stole money, but they hate the people who burn the flag even more. They are pro-choice. They understand that a fundamental decision like that should be made by the individual, but they're glad their church isn't.
Really? Are you sure about that? And the more you hear about the Baileys, the more it feels like they represent a very particular slice of the electorate. Schumer said that they supported the civil rights and anti-Vietnam War movements because they understood that morality was on the side of the protesters. But starting in the late 60s, when those protesters cursed the returning veterans and Stokely Carmichael advocated armed resistance against the white ruling class, the Baileys were lost, which, fun fact, is both a misleading history of the civil rights movement and what people who never supported it tend to say. And yet Schumer will insist the Baileys' concerns are widespread and that they could just as easily have been the Ramirez's of Portchester, the Kims of Elk Grove, California, or the Saleems of Dearborn, Michigan. But crucially, for all he talks about how much he loves the Baileys, they don't seem to return that love, because in 2021, he explained how the Baileys had voted in the past few presidential elections.
They voted for Clinton and then they voted for Bush. They're not a member of one party or another. They're independent.
Did they vote for Donald Trump?
Both of them did in 2016. Joe Bailey still did in 2020 with misgivings, but she didn't.
Yeah. The Baileys voted for Trump. And just this March, a reporter actually got an update on their voting history.
You said the Baileys voted for Trump in 2016. They split Trump-Biden in 2020. I'm wondering who they voted for in 2024.
Probably voted for Trump. But if you ask them why, I think they'd say, above all, crime.
So remember now he's going to scream here because remember he's a liberal.
Yeah,
John.
Yeah.
Oliver's a liberal.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Okay, so to recap, of the 6 votes the Baileys had across the last 3 presidential elections, 5 went to Donald Trump, most recently because of crime, which, for what it's worth, was down in every category last year, with violent crime at its lowest rate in 20 years. They also think the civil rights movement went too far and aren't against immigration, just illegal immigration. And this is the couple who, in Chuck Schumer's own words, have guided his political life. And at this point, it might be worth asking, is that a good idea? Because the truth is, Schumer's devotion to his imaginary friends may help explain why he and the Democratic Party have been so underwhelming in recent years. Because he seems to be focusing a huge amount on the interest of the Baileys from Long Island, while forgetting other voters actually exist. And look, I'm not saying that he shouldn't think about how his messaging plays with suburban middle-class voters with pretty right-of-centre views, or that they're not theoretically winnable in the future. What I am saying is, by tailoring your policies so heavily to them, you are pulling yourself to the right. And in doing so, could be alienating not only the rest of your base, but new voters looking for a party that speaks for them. So, Senator Schumer, at least when it comes to formulating policy, it might be time to break up with the Baileys, which really shouldn't be that hard to do, given that politically, it seems they've already broken up with you.
You know, it's how bizarre, but when you think about it, that's the mind of a liberal. Even when you think about it, the Baileys don't make any sense.
No.
It doesn't make any sense.
Well, it's all over the place. He wants them to be everything.
Right. How did they guide you in any way? It's like you've just got this story that you haven't connected any dots with. There's no connecting the dots here.
Right.
For the Baileys, the imaginary Baileys, who he loves.
Yeah.
And
I love them.
And are real, even though they're not real.
I talk to them.
Yeah.
They're real. I love them. You got a problem. And now we know why you put cheese on a raw burger patty. Because there's something wrong with you.
Just the best. I mean, just the best. And that comes from a liberal, John Oliver, who did that.
Yeah.
They want Schumer gone.
So here we have it. Adam Schiff. No one in his defense. Schumer's getting it. The thing with Oliver, by the way, is fairly big in terms of the play that it got. It's still getting play on social media.
Yeah.
And keep in mind, he's on HBO, but it doesn't matter because the clip is all over social media.
It's hilarious.
It's just weird and funny.
Well, it's hilarious / disturbing.
Yeah, exactly.
866-90 Red Eye.
We'll be right back with more Red Eye Radio with Eric Harley and Gary McNamara.
We are Red Eye Radio. He's Eric Harley, and I'm Gary McNamara. Well, tomorrow, will be the when we come in tomorrow. We'll be discussing a preview of the media's calling it the summit. Really, it's just a meeting between Putin and sort of an introductory. Let me feel you out. Kind of meeting, probably.
Yeah, right. And the president saying yesterday, telling European leaders and Zelensky, the only goal of tomorrow, get a ceasefire. That's it. Everything has to start with a ceasefire. Nothing happens without a ceasefire, and we'll see. Because, there's talk about, well, is there going to be a conversation about a land swap and everything else? He said, nope. The first goal is the ceasefire. Nothing can happen until that happens. So we'll see where it goes. By the way, just got a call during the break from the Baileys. They feel like they're being used.
This is Red Eye Radio on Westwood One.